Hello, everybody, and welcome to your monthly real estate market update with Jennifer from Lawhon Home Team. Let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about this month is ShowingTime's monthly index. So what is ShowingTime? If you're not familiar with that, it's an app that most of us realtors use when we're showing a home to potential buyers. So the ShowingTime has kind of showed what has been going on over the last about year and a half. So if you look at how many homes have been getting shown lately, look at these last few months. So this year, from about April up until September, you can see that in orange. You can kind of see my cursor over here. We've had still a decent amount of showing time, although yes, it does look like it has decreased. So if you go from, let's say, March of 2021, right? That's where we kind of hit our peak. Now go to September, and if you see, it does look a little bit like we've leveled off here. But now let's put this in perspective, because some people say, well, then it's slowing down. Is it slowing down? A little bit if we're looking at last year, which again, we said is kind of an odd year. A lot of things slowed down because of the pandemic, and then we had, once everything opened up, the market jumped because we had a ton of buyers now ready to buy. But look at these last few years. These are our typical years. Remember, we talked about that. We have 2017, 18, and 19. These are all your typical years. 2020, that's where we had that surge of homes, and this is from ShowingTime, so these are homes that were being shown. And now if you look at 2021, yes, if we compare to last year, we are seeing a slight slowdown. But if you compare 2021 to these 3 years, which were their typical real estate years, we're still well above average. Bill McBride, and I've used him a few times, he says that sales NSA in September, which was 548,000, were 2.7% below sales in September of 2020. Excluding last September, which would be distorted by the delayed selling season, again, because everything kind of slowed down for a little bit, sales NSA were the strongest since 2005. So this is good. We still have a very strong market. Now let's talk about our 2022 housing market forecast. So Doug Duncan says, right now we forecast mortgage rates to average 3.3% in 2022, which, though slightly higher than 2020 and 2021 by historical standards, remains extremely low and supportive of mortgage demand and affordability. Again, another good insight and good forecast, right, for 2022. Now let's look at home price forecast for 2022. This is from various companies. We actually have 6 different main companies here. This is what they are each forecasting for the home prices. The average, if we take all of this in average, then we're looking at about 5.1% for the average forecast. So we're not expecting depreciation. We're still expecting appreciation, just a slowdown with that. So homes will still appreciate, just maybe not as fast. Home sales forecast to increase this year and still perform well again in 2022. So again, we're going to use 4 of the main companies that we look at that tend to do our real estate forecasts. So for 2021, this was our forecast. And now they're forecasting about the same. I would say you've got a little bigger. MBA is going higher. They're forecasting higher for 2022. But nothing huge. Now, if you look at what sold in 2020, that's the yellow line that just popped up, there was about 6.5 million homes sold. So here, if we're looking at this, we're looking at an average of like 6.8 million. 2022 should be another strong year for the housing market. So we're still looking at possibly another good year. Now let's look at this little graph here I have. We have Unison's 2021 State of the American Homeowner, all right? So 64% of American homeowners say living through a pandemic has made their home more important to them than ever. 83% of homeowners say their home has kept them safe during the COVID-19 pandemic. And 91% of homeowners say they feel secure, stable, or successful owning a home. Last year, staying home became a necessity, and that caused many homeowners to have renewed gratitude for the roof over their head. Homeowners who feel emotionally attached to their home. Now look, pre-pandemic, when they would do this survey, it was roughly 58%. Now, 70%. So what does that mean? Well, Mark Fleming says that buying a home is not just a financial decision. It's also a lifestyle decision. And that is so true. Let's go into sales for a little bit. Average days on the market has not changed. If you look at my monthly market update for the last few months, it stayed around 17 days. So homes are still selling relatively quickly. What about existing home sales? Well, you've got the dark blue is 2019. That again was maybe more of a typical year. 2020 is that medium blue. And then the light blue would be 2021. And we can kind of look here. You've had a peak. And we've talked about this. I think we pretty much have seen our peak for this year, and that was in June. And sales have slowly kind of dipped down a little bit, but still above average from 2019. New home sales, and I've talked about this as well. New home construction have seen a surge in home sales. In fact, a lot of home communities, new home communities, especially around the Orlando area, have been selling very quickly. What about new home sales? If you're just curious about the price, what is the distribution as far as a price range goes? If you look at it, you can see in our curve here, this almost looks like a normal curve, a little bit close, but you've got between 300 to 500,000. You've got this with the 24% in here, so that would be 48% total. What about distressed properties? Are there a lot of distressed properties? Because I've had comments saying, well, with the people in distress, how much is there? Is there a lot? Is there a surge in that? So let's just look at this graph because I think this puts it in perspective. This is January of 2012. This is how many homes were in distress, okay, meaning foreclosures or short sales. Now let's go down here to today. And you're looking at a very low percent. So you had 35% back in 2012, and now we're down at 1%. So actually, that's looking really good. What about home prices? This is existing home prices. Now, this changes every month. I really should probably put this is last month's screen, this is this month's screen. Maybe I'll do that next month. You've got the overall average in the U.S., 13.3%. Where we're seeing a good amount is in the South. And I will say we see that here in Orlando. We're still seeing home prices kind of going up more, and I'm going to show you that when we get to the Orlando data so you can kind of see specifically what's going on here. Year over year change. So current, it's been 18%, and again, we talked about how it's been a bit unusual. The forecast is 1.9%. So again, that doesn't mean depreciation. It just means a slowdown, but still appreciating. So that's still good news for all homeowners. All right, housing inventory. Now I'm going to show you two. This is not the current. This is from last month. So I did want to kind of compare because it's shifting. States are shifting. This is the seller traffic index from last month's monthly market update. Now, when I click on this, you're going to see shifts in the states. See how that shifted? You can pause it and kind of go back if you want. But like last month, for example, Montana was highlighted, but this month it's not. But yet other states that weren't highlighted are now highlighting as becoming stronger. So we've kind of seen shifts depending on the state. What about inventory of homes over the last 12 months? So if you kind of just want to follow this, we're starting now here. This is from 2020. Now we're here in 2021. You'll kind of see inventory kind of went up, right? And even though it went down for September, still not bad, still not as low as it was in December and January. Now let's look at buyer demand. So again, I decided to throw the map in from last month's market update. So this is from October. This was the buyer traffic from last month. Now let's look at the buyer traffic currently. And again, still lots of buyer traffic, but some states are shifting a little bit. With buyer traffic, Florida's become stronger again, but we have some states that are now weak with the buyer traffic. Always got to talk about interest rates. Again, not much of a change with the forecast. So if you look at the fourth quarter, still staying in the low threes. And by next year, third quarter, looking at about 3.5%, Still excellent, but you will see a big difference. If you were to go to any mortgage calculator online, there's tons of them, put in 3.12% and see what your mortgage payment would be. Then put 3.55% and see that. What happens is even with little bits of raises, it is less of a home that you start to be able to afford. So here's your mortgage rates. The blue, the darker blue, is what has actually been for the mortgage rate. So you can kind of follow along from 2016, 2017. Here's 2020. They went way down, right? 2021, we saw an increase and then it went down a little bit. But if the market stays strong, if the economy stays strong, then we are going to see a potential increase in 2022. But of course, this is all projected. We'll see what happens over time. So looking at the mortgage rates, where are they going? This goes back to January of 2018. So way over here on the left, this shows you what the average mortgage rates were. Looking over here, you've got 2021, even with these projected rates, it's still nothing like it was in 2018 or even beginning of 2019. What about average days to close a loan? Oops, let me go back there. My mouse scrolled. Average days to close a loan, it just depends on your month, but you've been averaging now, if you look over in August, 46 days. It's actually been getting better with that. Average FICO score. So looking at conventional 755, FHA 676, and VA 721. These are all the average FICO scores for closed loans. So they've already purchased the home. All right, now we get to our Orlando market update. Trying to keep it quick for you this time, as much as I can. What's gone with the average sale? So this is how many sales we've seen. Again, remember the blue is our 2020, orange is 2021 this year. If you see, we've talked about how June was pretty much has been our peak for the year with how many sales we've had. And each month you can see we've had a decrease. So from September to October, we did see a decrease, just a slight decrease in the number of sales. But what about average sale price? Now look at this. Here's September. Average sale price went down from August to September. But even though the total sales of Orlando homes went down from September to October, the average sale price went up. And it actually went up about $10,000 for average from September to October. So we've actually seen an increase in the average sale price here. All right, as usual, we just talked about in the last market update about our fall buyer and seller guides. Well, now we're getting ready for winter. So those are going to be coming very soon. If you're interested, just send me an email, call us. They're free and we'll just email them to you. It's like a PDF. And this will kind of go over either whether you're buying or selling or doing both. We can send them both. And as always, if you have any questions or if you're interested in talking about Orlando and the Orlando real estate market, just give us a call or you can visit our website at lawhonhometeam.com. See you next month.